When we're trying to think about how Donald Trump would declare victory, I think he can't declare victory until he solves something regarding the very large amount, 440.9 kilograms of 60% enriched, highly enriched uranium that has so far been unaccounted for since the bombings back in June. Right now, we believe that a lot of this material is buried under rubble, and we think the Iranians have not been able to recover it and move it off-site. So the United States is clearly trying to either destroy it in place or further bury it to make it impossible to recover. If the containers, you're talking about a uranium hexafluoride gas in basically a metal tube like you would keep carbon dioxide or propane. If it's punctured, the uranium gas can escape, and it's very dangerous if you're in the room with it. But a kilometer away, you would have no idea this happened. There's no radiological release possible really outside a number of meters. The worst case scenario is that this material is unaccounted for, and we have this lingering doubt that there may be highly enriched uranium that can be used for a nuclear weapon somewhere that we can't tell whether it's been destroyed, buried, neutralized. It might just be gone. And the worst case scenario would be that it's being traded on the open market, proliferated to other countries.
We're running out of missiles. And according to the National Intelligence Estimate, once the bombing campaign stops, Iran will go in and excavate whichever site was hiding the enriched uranium. They will retrieve it and continue its enrichment program.
The Iran regime hid some of the enriched uranium before the strikes.
No. You mean, did they take it out of the deep one? No.
Because you were pretty clear you can't have a weapon. You're going to have to come to the talk. Something's going to happen.
I don't think they did. No, I think, first of all, it's very hard to do. It's very dangerous to do. It's very heavy, very, very heavy. It's a very hard thing to do. Plus, we didn't give them much notice because they didn't know we were coming until just, then. And nobody thought we'd go after that site because everybody said that site is impenetrable.
Because I saw reports that there were 400 kilograms, 800 pounds that they moved.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's traceable. I mean, if they were to have moved
They didn't move anything.
They didn't move anything.
You know what they moved? Themselves. They were all trying to live. They didn't move anything.
You said you want to get the enriched uranium. How are you going to get the enriched uranium? Are you going to
It's very easy. If we have a deal with them, we're going down and we'll take it ourselves.
We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield.
Joel chapter 3, verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, or Kharg Kodash, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. In this lesson I'm going into, they're going for the uranium and they're going for Kharg Island. Okay? They're going to find the uranium and they're going for Kharg Island. All right? And you can see that in the video clips that I put before. Okay, they're letting you know we need to find the uranium. This devil is something else, man. This is like a movie. We're watching a movie, man. Okay, it's like a movie script, man. All right, you're going to send troops, the 82nd Airborne Division, to do what? To be a sacrifice? Okay, because according to the scriptures, they are a sacrifice. Okay, that Northern Army getting removed to the other side of the world for a sacrifice that the Lord set up. Now, let me show you, and you can pull it up yourself as well, the Euphrates River on the map. Okay, it goes through Turkey. Okay, and you also have the Tigris River that's in Turkey as well, because they meet up as they flow through these different countries. Okay, so the Euphrates River flows through Turkey, it goes through Syria, then it goes through Iraq. Okay, it goes through Iraq, and then it goes down and it meets up with the Tigris River, and then they flow out into the Persian Gulf. Okay, I repeat, they flow out into the Persian Gulf. Okay, so if you think this Iran situation has nothing to do with the prophecies when it talks about the river Euphrates drying up and the angels that are bound, about to get in a second. Matter of fact, let's see how close Kharg Island they keep talking about. This Kharg Island, right? Let's see how close it is to the mouth of the river of Euphrates. It says here, Kharg Island, a major Iranian oil export terminal, is located in the northern Persian Gulf, roughly 150 to 200 kilometers, which is 90 to 125 miles. Some say 60 miles, but this is 90 to 125 miles southeast of the mouth of the Euphrates River, okay, where it flows into the sea. You hear that? All right. So it's not far from the mouth of the Euphrates River, the Kharg Island that they keep talking about taking. Okay, which is matching with the prophecies. That valley. Let's go into Revelations chapter 16. Let's read verse 12. It says, "And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared." Right. Prepared what? For World War III, for that final war. Okay, so that river plays a key part in World War III. Okay, if not, why is it written? Okay, which proves that around that river, in that area, okay, is the valley. Okay, going from Iraq, the Middle East, okay, West Asia. Okay, that proves it. Okay, and you can look up from year to year, the past years of that river drying up. And it's pretty much dried up. You can go look it up. Okay, so we here. Like I said, Kharg Island is 90 to 100 something miles away from the mouth of the river Euphrates. That's the place they talking about taking and landing troops on the ground. Come on, man. Come on, man. Do the spiritual math, man. Do the spiritual math. Okay. You have another one here. Let's go to Revelation chapter 9, verse 13. "And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before Yahweh, saying, The sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates." Okay, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Verse 15. "And the four angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of man." Right, to slay the devil, the serpent, to bring war to the serpent, Esau. That sacrifice in Basra that it talks about. Idumea, I have a sacrifice in Idumea. Okay, the scriptures speak about that. Okay, it tells you that. So mainly it's the judgment of Esau, but it's the heathen overall. That's why he says in Isaiah 34 chapter, right, his righteous anger, his indignation against their armies, the heathen's armies, starting with Esau, starting with the serpent. Okay, so the angels are bound there. So the Lord is going to guide the soldiers, these different militaries there in that area. Okay, in that area around Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Syria. Okay, the Persian Gulf. All right, that river flows right into the Persian Gulf. The Lord is guiding them there, but then there's angels already destined. All right, as these different soldiers, these different militaries from these countries gather up, they're going to get loose and get busy. They're going to put in the minds for war. They ain't going to be able to escape it. So it's a trap. We're watching a trap. I'm going to say it again, for his determination is to gather the nations, to assemble the kingdoms. Okay, the kingdoms of the heathen for war. They shall be divided with the fire of my jealousy. Okay, so there you go. You see it. You see it very clear what's going on here, man. You can't make this up. I can't make this up. All right. Let's go back into Revelation chapter 9, verse 16. "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them." A lot of missiles, man. Thousands and thousands on top of thousands, on top of thousands. I can keep going, of missiles. Okay, verse 17. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, okay, which it means the power of them, right? The missiles, the power, okay? And them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinths and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, right? The nuclear warheads, okay? Because you have different heads that goes on different missiles, but the nuclear is the top warhead, okay? But you have different warheads, and we know lions is the top. Okay, the scriptures talk about lions, the power of lions. That's the top, right? So that's why it breaks it down like that. Okay, and their heads as the heads of lion, talking about the nuclear warheads, and out of their mouths issued fire and brimstone. Okay, and smoke and brimstone, right? The nuclear missiles. Okay, the nuclear missiles. Okay, so there you go. Right there lets you know what time it is. So we watch that spot. We watch that area because that is the valley. That is the valley that we're supposed to be watching. Okay, let's go back to Joel chapter 3, verse 9 again. Proclaim you this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up to the valley, okay, around the Euphrates River. Okay, let it dry up to prepare the way. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, come, all you heathen armies, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathens round about. Right, because the angels are there. Okay, bound to carry out judgment. Okay, to receive that command. The same when the sun rise, the sun can't rise without a command from Yahweh. Okay, the scriptures talk about that. Everything has a command, a wind, a storm. It has a command that comes from the heavens. So when the Lord commands those angels that are bound, get that green light to go ahead and get busy in that area at the highest level, that's when you're going to see World War III hit the max and nuclear missiles start to fly. Right now, it's a buildup to that. It's a trap being set for that prophecy. Okay? Verse 13. Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Right. Very evil, man. These devils are evil as hell. Esau is evil as hell, man. All this flip-flopping he doing, okay? Think about how evil this shit is, man. Think about the pride that you saw in those videos, okay? Either they surrender or we're going to completely destroy them. But every time they come to the table to negotiate, you kill them and threaten them more and more and send more artillery like you're doing now. Verse 14, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And we're watching it being put together. That's what we're looking at, which lets you know we're at the end. It lets you know what time it is. Shouldn't be no confusion. Okay, so like I said earlier, it's like watching a movie, man. So they're going to put these troops to go look and search for the uranium. Or like Trump said, well, if they make a deal, if they surrender and bow down to us and accept that, you know, they can't fight, even though they're fighting, stop fighting us back. Pretty much they're telling Iran, will you stop fighting us back? It's over. You lost. Give up your country. Give up your children. Give up your enriched uranium. Where is it at? We want it. Okay, we're not leaving until we find it. Come on, man. Yeah. Hey, call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakak, man. We're watching it unfold. All right, so with that, I hope you're edified. I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakak, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders, great millstone, and shalom to you, Arkham, out there that's doing the truth in all sincerity. Shalom.
Why can't the Strait of Hormuz be opened if their military is destroyed? Wait, I want to hear.
Hold on one second.
here is the big picture question I do have here, Scott, is if it is true that we have won, why are we sending the 82nd Airborne?
Thank you.
To be prepared for what happens next.
Why is the strait not open if we've won? If
So one of the elements of the discussion is presumably nuclear materials.
Yeah.
And even with bombing last June, nuclear materials don't go away for thousands of years, and that material can just be dug up and reused. So one of the, really, to me, the only reasonable basis to put our folks in Iran is to recover materials after an agreement has been achieved.
Would you support that, putting American boots on the ground to recover nuclear material?
After an agreement has been achieved to recover materials, yes.
So not as combat troops. You're saying under some sort of
Would you support it, Scott?
Well, we cannot exit this, in my opinion, without being able to assure the world that they do not have enriched uranium to the point of and purpose of building a nuclear weapon.
And we have to go boots on the ground for
So that is what we have to exit.
Do you and Ken have a difference of opinion here? I mean, would you support using special operations force, potential paramilitary forces, or potentially regular troops to go get nuclear material if the Iranians didn't want us here, or are you wary of that as a choice?
Well, I'm wary of it, of course. Anytime you have people in harm's way, you have to be leery of it. But yeah. I guess I'm not, and none of us here are in a position to know what is the status of the conversations between us and who we're talking with in Iran. Also, what is Israel planning to do? Also, what are we hearing from our partners in the other Gulf states? I think there's a lot of variables that we're frankly not in a position to know enough to answer that question. But yes, of course, anytime American troops are in harm's way, you worry and you pray. And we have the greatest military in the world and we have the greatest troops in the world. But it would be quite dangerous. And hopefully, as Ken said, you would get to a point where they say, Uncle, come get the enriched uranium.
The remaining elements of the Iranian regime have another opportunity to cooperate with President Trump, permanently abandon their nuclear ambitions, and cease actively threatening America and our allies. But the president's preference is always peace. There does not need to be any more death and destruction. But if Iran fails to accept the reality of the current moment, if they fail to understand that they have been defeated militarily and will continue to be, President Trump will ensure they are hit harder than they have ever been hit before. President Trump does not bluff, and he is prepared to unleash hell. Iran should not miscalculate again. Their last miscalculation cost them their senior leadership, their Navy, their Air Force, and their air defense system. Any violence beyond this point will be because the Iranian regime refused to understand they have already been defeated